Level 70, the killer instinct. The flustered attendant is in urgent need of someone with a knack for chasing off ruffians. Quest will unlock the Reaper job. You there, you're the fighting sort, yes, and by the looks of it, one of no mean skill. My employer is in desperate need of a woman of your talents, you see. He's been beset by threats from an unsavory group of thugs known as the Lemurs. Their leader demands my master part with some of his considerable wealth, or, well, I'll just tell you they call her the Reaper and leave the rest to your imagination. We don't intend to acquiesce to these churlish demands without a fight, and a stout arm by our side go far to ensure our survival. Your arm, perhaps. In case the opportunity to perform a good deed isn't enticement enough, please be reminded that my master possesses considerable wealth. If you would aid us, come with haste to the Sapphire Avenue Exchange, where we make our stand against these brutes. I know why you're here, and if you mean to lay a finger on my coin purse, you'll have to pry it from my cold, lifeless Master Gigi. Yo, she's a friend, so this adventurer has agreed to help. We'll show the Reaper what her empty intimidations are worth. I see. My apologies, madam. Tensions have been high as of late, and as I'm sure you can understand. Reasons that elude me, these Lemuras have made my life a waking nightmare. Sight unseen, they have demanded I begin paying them for the luxury of my own life. Rumors abound of their origins. Some say they are detritus of some barbaric nation. They flout our laws and threaten their betters with impunity. They're led by a dead-eyed killer who draws her scythe at the smallest slight. Refuse their payments of coin, and she takes her share of your lifeblood instead. Rubbish, I say. The Reaper is naught but a toothless bandit. Interesting theory you have there. Care to test it? You're the Reaper. Oh, you're a perceptive one, ain't you? Suppose that's how you came to be in possession of so many shiny things. What do we have here? Hiring more help while our ledgers remain unbalanced. You wouldn't be trying to wriggle your way out of paying us for a job well done, would you? What was all that about, sight unseen? You've hired these Lemures before? My, how do you keep the lies straight? You didn't tell your hired muscle here what great friends we were. So great, in fact, you trusted none other than me and mine to put the scare into your competition. Job we were happy to do. You can't find your fortune in this fair city without stepping over a few bodies on the way, after all. But as flexible as our morals are, I'm afraid without the coin to bend them, we only have one recourse, unless... one does wonder how you found yourself with a bodyguard of such uncommon metal. Aye, not an ounce of fear in that gaze, and not a mote of puffed-up arrogance either. This last, my dear Gigilio, is a genuine article. He has what we in the mercenary trade call the killer instinct. Or instinct. How's this? For the sake of our long-standing friendship, I'll make it simple. Allow me to take this adventurer off your hands, and the debt is forgiven. What? That's all? I believe this is what them in your trade call a bargain. As for you, adventurer, it seems you've been made a free agent. If you're still inclined to put those instincts of yours to use, come and visit our headquarters in Pearl Lane. The door's open. The combo breaker. Great. Our job. Get them leveled. Boss told me you'd be along coming in. To Lemuria's headquarters. Yep. Boss, the guest of honor's arrived. Ah, the savior of Alamigo and Doma deigns to appear before me. I have heard all about you. It's not hard to in this line of work. The stories paint you as ferocity incarnate, a force of nature few have survived. Peace, friend. I have no desire to put the killer to the proof personally. I don't have a death wish. Call me Drusilla. I'm a reaper, one of many, and the leader of this little family here. As to why I invited you into our home, there's a job I'd like you to take care of for me. Depends on the job. I won't work with criminals and thieves. Job. We are criminals. Now, don't you worry that virtuous heart of yours, eh? I wouldn't ask you to do so much as bend the law. This job is purely for the benefit of your fellow man. All you have to do is kill one for me. Though perhaps kill ain't the right word, seeing as he's already dead. Don't look so surprised. I know you've seen the dead walk. This time you'd be up against a void scent. Come here to unleash its singular brand of wickedness upon the world. Won't be an easy task. The evil driving this monster is black as the void, near as deep. Countless souls have succumbed to its hunger. Worthy prey for one inclined to heroics, don't you think? Can't face it as you are, though. Storied as your strength may be, I'll need to train you in techniques. Techniques that'll let you pierce the void and slaughter its kin. Could you have to teach me? Talking. Joke. Garlean. Don't see many Garleans in Ul'dah, do you? Let alone ones as savage as this. Save your startled gasp. I'm not out of surprises yet. Hold your hand out to the crystal here, and if you're made of the stuff I think you are, then you're in for a treat. That's it. I knew you had what it takes. This would be an avatar, a manifestation of your essence and the Stygian power of void scent on the other side. A void scent to which, if you so choose, you will bind to yourself. You'll gain skills unlike anything you've ever known. Skills that have allowed people like me to operate in the shadows and kill those that need killing since time immemorial. And your first assignment, should you walk this path, is to use the power of one void scent against another for the betterment of the realm. The reward will be the wisdom of countless generations of Garlean assassins. But if siding with my kind makes your stomach churn... Oh, they just skipped right over it. The thought of having one foot in the void... Why is it going so fast? If you've any concern for the sanctity of your soul... However, you've none of the aforementioned objections, and you don't mind walking the knife's edge twixt life and death, and you have the tools to see your justice done and done right every time. I'm gonna have to go back and watch this. Yes, I don't know. This is the choice you must make, and soon every moment of our quarry stalks the land is another opportunity for it to do harm. Going too fast for me to read. Changing these settings, it should have me press button. Yes, sir. I'll take it you've come to a decision, am I right? There'll be no turning away once you've chosen, mind you. You'll dance with death and return as its envoy. You won't return at all, so what will it be? I will not suffer this void sent to threaten the innocent. I will dance. Not much of a dancer, but I want the power to see my justice done. I prefer to keep well clear of death if it's all the same to you. Very good, then let's not waste time. Take up this crystal and attest to both worlds that you walk as a reaper. Bind yourself to the void and claim the strength that the weak of heart shun. The avatar at your side does have the void scent bring its power to bear, feeding upon the souls of the fiends you cut down in return. Not a bad arrangement, eh? I'm sure you tire of words. Here, the traditional weapon of our order. Let's see how it looks strapped to your back. 70, Killer Instinct, complete. Reaper unlocked. Level 70, the harvest begins. Drusilla has a mission in mind for a fledgling Reaper. You find the weight of the scythe in your hands. Please and I hope, now that we have a bit more in common, it's time we became better acquainted. What's the name of our newest Reaper? Doesn't quite roll off the tongue, but so it is with the Eorzean names. With every new one I learn, one more is forgotten. Years can replace Jigilio. After our little conversation, I think he'll give us a wide berth. Any road, we've more worthwhile concerns than shifty merchants, namely getting you converse well and proper in the tricks of our trade, and the best way to do that is through battle. One of the family is having trouble with a particularly vexing fiend and has sent word asking for assistance. Goes by the name of Arnegus, and he's stationed out near Cutter's Cry. Not much of a fighter, but he's got a keen mind for trade and can find a needle in a stack of needles if need be. We'd best hurry before he ends up at the bottom of some monster's gullet. Black brush, central Thanolin. Cutter's Cry. Boss, who's this? Are you sure we should be getting an outsider involved? Thank you for your discretion, Arnegus, but it ain't needed. She has a personal contract with me, so I consider her a mercenary in service to the family. Whatever you'd say in front of me, you can say in front of her. By your will, boss, a chimera has been making these sands a living hell for anyone who dares wander into its territory, which would be us, since our trade route cuts right through it. The men I've hired to carry my goods are scared to death, and I can't blame them. None of us are fit for monster hunting, so I sent for you. We'll see what we can do, Arnegus. Might find a rock to hide behind, though chimeras ain't known for being the most discriminating of beasts. Time to put your new skills to use, Zilly. You have learned all Reaper actions and traits to level 70. Detailed descriptions can be viewed in Actions and Traits window, accessed under Character in the main menu. Ready, are we? Duty calls. Commence battle for the harvest begins. Level sync is in effect. If you're above the maximum allowed level, will be synced as follows. Item level 395, level 70. Proceed. You just go kill a chimera. Let's get on with the hunt, eh? We'll need to draw out the Chimera with Myrmidon meat. Now to accustom yourself to the Reaper's tools, harvest the souls of the fallen to call forth your avatar. Reapers can summon their avatar by filling their soul gauge. Soul gauge will fill when performing combos starting with Slice or when using skills such as Soul Slice. Best Reapers fight in tandem with their avatars. Let's see how you do. It looks like I've gotten all of these. Just had to use my gibbet. Is that it? I could have done this a lot quicker. I think I had to wait for him to say something. Easy prey. Well, I've been playing it quite a bit already. So. All right, well, that went quickly. Probably could have done it quicker. Bloody impressive work, that. Knew there was something about you, but truth be told, I didn't expect you to make such clean work of that Chimera. I reckon even I might be hard-pressed to match that display. You know talent when you see it, boss, and with that, the ceruleum will flow once more. Among his many roles, Arnejus is a merchant of sorts. He sells ceruleum at a price that'd make those guild pinchers at Amagina and Sons balk, but still turns a pretty profit. We can barely keep up with demand despite the occasional beast or two butting into our affairs. All thanks to you, boss, and our countrymen up north, of course. Here's to getting back to business as usual. Ceruleum ain't easy to come by, as you well know. Imagina and Sons protects their monopoly with a gilded fist, but they've yet to force the Imperial stragglers up north out of the market. Now, before you go running off to the flames, let me assure you that this arrangement is entirely above board. Selling goods to Imperials is forbidden by law, but there's nary a word writ about buying from them. I know you Eorzeans like to call Garleans by all sorts of colorful names. Bastards, tyrants, invaders, and we've got all those and worse. But while many a foul deed has been committed for the glory of the Empire, we ain't megalomaniacs to a man. Even amongst the purebloods, those that serve don't always do so by choice. Could be argued we're all casualties of the great Machina's ambition. No small number of Empire's troops would return home in a heartbeat if they could, but the world being what it is, most settle for sending their family what few coins they can afford to part with. Most Eorzeans wouldn't suffer a whit of color to complicate their black and white view, but if you're going to fight with us, you should learn the truth of our past. Long ago, long before the Empire, our forebears lived in Locus Amoris, down in southern Ilzabard. With the temperate climes and fertile earth the land provided, many of us were but simple farmers, harvesting abundant crops with the self-same size the reapers would eventually wield. But gifts are ever the object of envy. When not tilling the fields, our ancestors were forced to defend them. Every year they yielded a few more elms, and some 800 years ago now they were driven from Locus Amoris completely. Amoris. They fled north to the frozen region that would become Garlemald. Even there they fought tooth and nail for the scant resources of that frigid land. The fires of hardship were the first Magitech devices forged, and with innovation upon innovation, that humble group of farmers grew into an insatiable empire. Before that miraculous twist of fate, we were dying breed, bereft not only of magic, but of hope itself, with no natural advantages to speak of. Our mere survival was in question. From harsh necessity were the Reapers born. We turned our tools to weapons and struck a bargain with the Whispers in the dark. With the Void's power, we could strike at an army's beaten heart, slay their generals, and throw the rank and file into disarray. Our way is to end battles before the sparks catch, to sacrifice the one for the many, to keep avaricious hands away from family, friends, and lovers. And now this power belongs to you. Remember our story. Remember what drives a woman to turn to the void, and you'll not be led unto deeper temptations. Our work here is done. I'll see you back at headquarters. When I meant, did I go too far down? Far down. For your first outing, you did good. I think you've earned the right to know just who this lot you've thrown yourself in with is. You might have gathered this yourself, but the Lemurs were formed to support those Garleans who are living in exile. It ain't easy to be far from home, let alone in a place where most would sooner gut you than offer a helping hand. Oft the only place to make a living is in the shadowy corners that lie outside the watchful gaze of the law. I don't expect you to embrace us like brothers and sisters straight away, but I know this. Know this, I do expect you to apply yourself to this job. In the meantime, I'll be working with the family to ascertain the whereabouts of our prey. I expect the site to be like an extension of your own body when next we speak. Harvest begins, level 70, complete. Level 73 on the hunt. Drusilla is eager to get the void scent hunt underway. Ah, there you are, looking deadly enough with that scythe to make me weak in the knees. Wager it's time we stopped faffing about and made ready to hunt our target. My Lemirs have been hard at work scraping together what information they can. Let's see what they've got. Everyone's here. Good. Arnagis, you've met. No further Chimera-related incidents you'll be happy to hear. The overly chipper lass over there is Herman. Make your acquaintances. As you know, our quarry is Voidsent, and he goes by the name Orcus. He's eluded the best, but these two are a step above that. Tell us what you found. By your will, boss. I asked around about unsolved murders and disappearances, seeing if any involves someone matching the description you provided. There's as many missing people as there are grains of sand, and no shortage of tragedies either. One, however, stood out among the rest. The woodcutter in the black shroud disappeared without a trace. No body, no belongings, nothing. An odd enough occurrence by itself, but the sightings of a stranger with skin pale as snow near his last known whereabouts piqued our interest. Now that's a promising start, but those woods are crawling with bandits and brigands of all sorts. Duskwights and keepers are said to come in ghostly hues. Are we sure this man ain't one of them? As sure as I've ever been, boss. Not many bandits have eyes the color of blood. It's a match too close to ignore. I can't gainsay that. We have a lead. If I may, boss, are you sure we need the help of this outsider? Much trouble could one Voidsent be. Herman, she's standing right there, for God's sake. No, she's right. I've always told you to turn a wary eye to those outside the family. She's just doing her due diligence. But trust me when I say we need every advantage we can afford. I made the mistake of misjudging Orcus's strength before, and for my hubris, my family, my flesh and blood family, was slain, all of them. I was planning on holding that back a bit longer, but 'twas before the lemurs, I swore two things: I'd repay that suffering 1,000-fold, and I'd never let that bastard take anything from me again. I mean to keep my vow, and I trust I can count on you to help. You don't have to ask twice, boss. Your wounds are our wounds, even the ones that become scars. We'll see your vengeance wrought. All these years I've scraped to make a place for us. I looked forward to the day he'd pay his dues. It ain't just for me that we have to hunt him down either. He's a blight on Eorzea itself, and the longer we let it fester, the more suffering it'll spread. Okay. Need to corner him now while we have the chance. Are you ready, Zilla? You know these woods as well as any of us. We'll need your experience if we hope to be back before supper. Much appreciated. All right, let's get to it then. Herman, I want you here in Old Dog, keeping your ear to the ground for any news of Orcus's movements. Arnagis, you lead us to where this woodcutter disappeared. By your will, boss, that'd be the Central Shroud, so our best course would be to set off from Bent Branch Meadows. The Bent Branch. Good, you made it. Before we set off, allow me to share the circumstances of our poor woodcutter's disappearance. As I heard it, he disappeared nigh on a week ago. Got lost, some surmise, but he was a seasoned woodsman, not some high-born traveler who forgot to buy a map. Questioned those closest to him, and none could think of a reason he might want to make himself scarce. He'd even made plans to meet with friends not long from now, but I expect that promise will go unkept. Sounds like we can rule out a voluntary departure. Believe we can. The last person to see the man alive said he took his axe and ventured northwest. Then that's where we'll set our trap. Here, Zilly, take these. A Magitech transceiver and candle that's scented like a void synth's favorite libation, blood. Once it's lit and fumes are wafting through the air, every void scent within 30 ohms will come running. If either of us sees Orcus, let's give the other a shout over the transceiver. As I said before, Orcus is inhabiting the body of a man, and he can put on an awfully convincing performance when needs must. Don't give him a chance to work his wiles, or his fangs will be in your neck before you know it. Much as I want to accompany you, I'd only be a liability in a fight. Whether you find Orcus or not, return here and I'll report back to Lemurs. Good luck and good hunting. All right, well. Blood-scented candle. Scent your blood chokes the air, filling your nostrils with its metallic aroma. Drawn by the maleficent odor, a void scent rises from the underbrush. Though it bears no resemblance to Orcus, it eyes you with voracious hunger. I thought I'd have to go to all three. Not gonna make me like come back and then go back and then come back and then go back. Glad you see it. Glad to see you in one piece. Now, what's that you have in your hand? You said the void scent was carrying this? That ring, where'd you find it? I see, then there can be no doubt. Void scent that Zilly slew is the very same one that murdered our woodcutter. Murdered, are you saying? Aye, while I was searching for a place to set my trap, I spotted a shallow grave hastily dug and poorly hidden. Under a thin layer of dirt was a bloody matching was a body matching the description of the woodcutter. Wholly nondescript fellow, save for the mark of a ring removed from his finger. Doubtless that ring was his demise. Shiny baubles are a common fixation for void scent. Probably didn't spare a thought for the owner, only the prize. I suppose we can take comfort in knowledge that it'll harm no one else. Orcus or not, I'd say this expedition was a success after a fashion. I should apprise the whalers of what's transpired. You two catch some well-earned rest. Thank you kindly, Arnagus. Well then, I'll see you back at headquarters. Closer one, huh? Closer? Like it might be. Yeah, definitely slightly closer. Maybe we didn't get the satisfaction I promised, but sitting here with our heads in our hands won't do us any good. Let's be happy with one less void scent preying on helpless woodcutters. The only good void scent is a dead void scent. Orcus will pay for what he did. Yeah, glad to see a passion for our mission. Apologies we couldn't make your first outing more memorable. We were on the cusp of ending 2 decades of misery. That's how long ago Orcus came into this world, raging like an animal free from his cage and leaving my family dead in his wake. Grief he caused since then is immeasurable. No matter where his accursed feet take him, his hunger follows and the realm bleeds to sate it. Of course, we aren't the only ones hunting him, but he's as clever as he is vicious, and not even the finest trackers have been able to keep on his trail for too long. Did not read today. Don't lose heart yet, boss. While you were away, I was making the rounds, and I might have found something that will soon bear fruit. Arn is following up on it as we speak. I swear someday that man is going to keel over on my account. Still, there's no one else I'd trust to tell me the difference between truth and hysteria. That being said, his work takes time to do right. Use this chance to hone your skills, and if all goes to plan, next time we speak, you'll have a golden opportunity to test them. Level 73, on the hunt, complete. Level 75, Dark Days. Drusilla is awaiting word from Arn. Apologies, Zilly, but we're still waiting on Arn to come through. There's not much for you to do around here until then, unless you have a knack for cleaning. Herman is good at weeding out promising stories and whatnot, but getting to the truth of those stories is a craft as delicate as weaving. I'm sure you've seen firsthand how one bad bit of information can lead to elaborate plans coming apart at the seams. Boss. Calm down, lad. Breathe. What's gotten into you? It's Arn. He's been murdered. That didn't take long. What? Tell me I heard that wrong. Afraid not. The brass blades found him half buried in the sands not bells ago. Just lying there like some bloody animal carcass. They're bringing him to Eralig's burial chamber as we speak. Whoever did this doesn't know the reckoning they've got coming. Before I'm done with them, they'll be begging to crawl back into their mother's womb. I want justice as much as you, Ermin. I do, but it's times like these we need to look to the boss for guidance. As you can see, Zilly emotions are running high. I should stay here until Herman cools off. Can you let the boss know we're standing by and waiting for her command? Like as not, she's gone to pay her respect. Okay, where is she? Sorry, Zilly, I ain't in the mood for chit-chat. Where's the bloody keeper? My lady, prithee, the dead must be let to rest. The dead are going to have one more among them if you don't shut your trap and listen. The brass blades brought in a body not long ago. Show me to it. Ah, yes, that they did, but are you the deceased family? If not, I'm afraid we cannot. Family. Arn was like a son to me. Like a son? Ordinarily that would be. He is interred in the innermost coffin. However, I must advise you not to gaze upon the body. Mata, if she insists, and so be it. God damn it, Arn. I told you not to go and get yourself. Don't, Zilly. This isn't for you. Sorry for barging in here and for all the bluster. If you can forgive my rudeness, promise me that Arn gets sent off well and proper. Of course he shall be. However, if you wish to inter him within the city gates, well, such sought-after space comes at no small expense. I don't care what it costs, just send your man to Lemur's headquarters to collect what you require. I appreciate you coming to find me, but there's someone else I have to speak with first. I'm heading to Stone's Throw. Come along if you please, but come along in silence. That's like right outside, isn't it? Yeah. This is where Arn's dear wife earns her living. Best get this over with. She did it. Not Arn. We go back so far. What was he doing out there anyways? His trade? Arn never forgot the debt he owed you, the debt we both owed you. Even so, his loyalty ran even deeper than that. A strange thing to look back on the people we were, a decade younger and a lifetime more foolish. Young lovers, proud patriots, blissfully ignorant, returning to Locus Ominis, the cradle of our people. Triumphant homecoming for the Garleans after centuries in exile. The once mighty invaders had been laid low and driven back whence they came, and it was a banner day when Arn was honored with a post there. The honor and pride quickly faded when we saw the truth of Locus Ominis. We hadn't just defeated our enemies, we had clapped them in irons and condemned them to a life of servitude. Descendants of those who'd driven our ancestors north so many generations ago, made to pay for the crimes of their forebears. The superiors were certainly pleased with the poetry of it all. Arn, however, could not simply look away from their suffering, let alone take pleasure in it. Confronted with the reality of the place we would call home, his conscience demanded he take action. He began cooperating with the resistance, but the eyes of the Frumentarium are all-seeing, and before long he was ousted as a sympathizer. 'Twas only by the grace of good fortune that we escaped with our lives. I've often lain awake at night, wondering if he had outlived his usefulness to the resistance, or perhaps it was a petty senior officer that orchestrated our fall. Regardless of the cause, the outcome was the same. We could never return to the Empire. We fled to Eorzea by way of Razat-san, the only route open to us. It wasn't soon after stepping foot on the docks of Lemza Lamenza that your luck ran out, as I recall, stopped by Yellow Jackets and accused of being Imperial spies. But we still managed to make an escape. We ran and ran, terrified that our pursuers would one day catch up to us. That is until we met you. Had you not taken us under your wing when you did, I shudder to imagine our fate. Gratitude's the last thing I deserve, lass. If I hadn't sent Arn off on my damned fool's errand, he'd still be alive. It was Orcus that killed him, and no mistake, he died for my vengeance. I can't tell you how sorry I am. No, you needn't apologize. I know he was happy. So long as he was helping you, he was happy. The blame for his death doesn't rest on your shoulders. It rests on the man, the monster that murdered him in cold blood, and I expect you to see he answers for his crimes, for me and for Arn. I will, lass, I will. On this, I swear everything that I have to swear. We need to talk, Zilly, somewhere with fewer prying eyes. Come meet me at the bridge to the north. Owe you an apology for not telling you everything about me and Orcus from the start. I dragged you in a fight against a foe that's cunning, brutal, and utterly merciless. I thought with all of us together, we'd tip the scales in our favor. But I was wrong, and Arn paid the price for my hubris. That void scent we tracked in the Black Shroud was likely one of Orcus's minions, but I was too caught up in my grand scheme to realize it at the time. I should have thought about why it tried to hide that body. Your common void scent wouldn't have the guile to bury a kill. But what if Orcus taught it that as a way to throw trackers off its scent and to dangle bait for me and mine? Orcus has used that same trick in the past, and he knows that we know it too. By dispatching his minions, we drew his attention, and Arn was a warning. Orcus doesn't give his prey swift deaths. He toys with them, cuts them into them, and savors the screens. That's how I knew he was responsible. It's like a signature, the way he leaves the bodies when he's had his fill. I only pray Arn doesn't take that suffering with him to the next life. Orcus will be coming for you or me next. Not right away, though. That'd be giving up the game. He wants us to keep looking over our shoulders, sleeping with one eye open. He'll wear us down without even lifting a finger. When he finally strikes, we'll be dead on our feet, playthings for him to do with as he pleases. That won't do. We need to bring the fight to him. No more waiting around for a lead to come to us. It won't be easy, but can I still count on your help? Orn! I've come this far, might as well go the rest of the way. Thank you. If you've got no qualm risking life and limb to fight for Arn, just to fight for me, then I've got no qualm calling you a member of my family. Family? A curious word, that. Bloody, it's him. Zilly, Orcus. Some persistent rats were nibbling at my tail. I should have known their stench was you and yours, Drusilla, or should I call you granddaughter? Shut your mouth, you thrice-damned monster. Monster, is that any way to greet a beloved elder children these days? No, Grandpappy. Seems one death wasn't punishment enough for you. A second should suffice for the scant remainder of your being. We're ending this here and now. Follow my lead. I thought we might savor our reunion for a while longer, but if you insist, I shall feast upon your beating heart here and now. Die! Oh, naught but dregs left in that desiccated vessel of yours. Too long has the hide been left in the sun. But your family has been replenished with fresh blood, I see. My mind, what a bounteous soul on this one has. Sight may be dull, but your eye is as sharp as ever. Blinding as the sun, pure as the snow. Heh heh heh. Delectable as a boar slathered in grease. I had thought to make quick meal of you, but perhaps just this once forbearance is in order. Such a singular specimen must be given time to fatten to fulfill its succulent potential. 'Twould be a travesty to consume you ere you achieve perfection. Your soul is ripe with fear, swollen with hatred, and fit to burst with despair. I shall return for you, and I shall gorge. Till that time, sup well, my growing whelp. Curse these old bones. He was right in front of me. I could have ended it in one swing. For a moment, just one moment, I saw it all again. My family slaughtered, lying at his feet. My life slipping away, and that was enough. Doubtless you have more than a few questions. I'll answer them, I promise. But now's not the time, trust me. Standing around kicking the sand won't change what's done. Let's return to headquarters and let the wind cool our heads. Then we can consider our next course of action. Ooh. Ooh. Excuse me. Heading in. It was my own fault. If I hadn't stood there slack-jawed, if I wasn't so damn slow, we'd be rid of that abomination once and for all. You saw he used to be my grandfather before Orcus took over. He looks green enough to be my own grandchild now. Trick of the void, like it's not. No secret that if a void sin doesn't want to devour you, it probably wants to take possession of your flesh, but Orcus has a particular talent for it. As you doubtless surmise, he's got an insatiable craving for ether. Killing is only a prelude of the act of gulping down our essence, like a draught of ale after a day's work. He's old, I can't say exactly how old, and he's acquired a taste for the finer things. Seems your soul counts among the finest he's ever seen. Things just keep getting better for us, don't they? Wouldn't be the first time someone set their sights on my soul and keep his bloody fangs to himself. Is that so? Used to being a prize pig, are we? Any road, it's clear that safety is no longer something we can take for granted, not even in crowded streets nor in the middle of the day. Keep your eyes peeled and watch out for those terrible red eyes. Sit in chocobos for the moment, but I'll think of something and send for you as soon as I can. Until then, never sleep far from your sight. Level 75, Dark Days complete. Oh. Excuse me. Level 78, Thicker Than Blood. Drusilla seems relieved to see you walk through her door unscathed. Glad to see Orcus hasn't sunk his teeth into you yet. Don't go thinking he's given up on trying now. He's out there savoring you from a distance. Can't resist checking in on his prize, just as he can't resist seeking out morsels to tide him over till his feast. The reports we've received of a man pale as death skulking about the sands is proof of that. Then there's the matter of his blunted dagger. We don't know who sent it, but we do know what it means. The warning commonly used by the less savory elements in Old Da, warning that the next will be delivered sharp and straight to our bellies. More fool them, they've no notion of what we face and live, thinking we'd soil our small clothes over empty threats. Let's hope it's nothing more than that. Last, seeing as we need to follow up on these reports sooner or later, anyone fancy a bit of fresh air? If we catch a whiff of Orcus's foul stench, all the better. I want you to ask around near Blackbrush Station, and I'll head to Stone's Throw. When you're done, meet me there, and we'll share what we've dug up. I recognize that self-assured stride, the mark of a woman ready to take on the world and then some. You must be Eorzean Reaper the boss sent word about. I'm most disappointed to tell you nothing is amiss. A soldier in me would have loved to see a Reaper in action. I once fought in the Imperial Army, so you wouldn't think it to look at me now. Served proudly under Lord Valens in my youth until the day he ordered us to use common folk as fodder in some pointless skirmish. I refused and was sentenced to death for my candor. Needless to say, I didn't keep that appointment. Compared to that evil, toothless threats and ghost are no bother, but the less jaded are more excitable. One lass in particular has been jumping at shadows. Claims to have seen all manner of terrors, but I suspect she'd be startled by her own reflection. Still, if you want to lend an ear to her delusions, you can find her in Lost Hope. Oh, hello. Who are you? Oh, did Drusilla receive my missive? She sent someone to rid us of this terrible evil waiting in the wings. Truly, she cares for us as if we really were her flesh and blood, which is more than I can say about my own. Not once have I longed to return to the life of comfort I left behind in Garlemald. I have Drusilla to thank for that. She isn't the reason I left home in the first place, of course. Had I not met my beloved, I would likely still be feasting on lemon cakes and ignorance. In ignorance of love, of freedom, I found the former in Garlemald and the latter in Eorzea as our new life blossomed into something beautiful. Not every day has been easy, not even most days, but Drusilla's watchful eye has kept us safe, and our freedom is worth any measure of hardship. Such terrible fear gripped my heart when my beloved told me of the pale man he spied on the sands, but now that the family has come to help, I can breathe a sigh of relief. Sure you wish to know precisely where to find that horrid creature, but I cannot help half so well as my beloved might. Seek him in the southeast and pray put an end to his nightmare. Dandy. Through deviled mist the hunter doth now tread, tracking the scent of quarry others dread, and darkest night cry for a keeper. Lo, by your side she walks the reaper. Apologies for the effusive display, friend. I'm a poet, you see, and cannot resist putting into words the flood of emotions that accompany such a striking figure as yours. Back up. Monster. Grog. Bloodlust emanating from this voice is potent and powerful. Yay. Thank you, my savior, my godsend. Would that I could have aided you, but alas, a poet's pen is of little use in battle. Thus, of course, that battling involves not swords and sighs, but words, just as the sire of my beloved, who is even now licking the wounds dealt by the invective verse I composed after he had the gall to forbid our union. Masterwork of scathing metaphor and subtle remonstration. Alas, for all their pretensions, nobles are anything but subtle in their rage. We were forced to flee to abandon our homes with only our love for sustenance. Nevertheless, I've regretted not a single moment of our life in exile. In Eorzea, we found an unexpected treasure. Freedom. Freedom of mind and freedom of heart. But I digress. Surely you did not seek me out simply to save my life and leave with a nod and a smile. Do you wish to commission a poem? Hail, man, I encountered him whilst wandering these arid waste in search of inspiration. Felt the gaze of some terrible presence upon my back, and when I turned to meet it, he was standing there, grinning like a butcher in a bullpen. He wore robes much too thick for these scorched sands, and his skin looked as if it had never been kissed by the blazing sun. Worst of all, his eyes were two bottomless pools of blood. I fear my end had come, but when he vanished as quickly as he had appeared. Perhaps I've been reckless. Recent incidents make clear the cost of inspiration is higher than I'm willing to pay. I return to my beloved for both my safety and hers. Thank you again, my savior. There you are, Anne. Another one of his accursed minions. Well, I suppose we can take comfort in the fact that none of the family came to harm, yourself included. Well done. Speaking of which, what do you think of this family you've been thrust into? Speak freely. I haven't lived this long by taking offense at opinions I don't want to hear. Surprised you've all survived this long. Seems like any other family to me. Doesn't matter what I think, does it? Huh. Seen some odd families then, I reckon. I'd like to think we're one of a kind, though. A collection of cast-offs unfit to live under the Empire's boot. Yours truly included. Much as some enlightened types might tell you otherwise, people like to have a say in the life they lead. That's what separates us from those bugs over there. Oh, that and we don't eat poop. Generally. Born queens, workers, and drones, bred into roles ingrained so deeply they wouldn't know how to live otherwise, for the glory and prosperity of the hive. But we've got it in us to be different. Might be born into farming, soldiering, or politicking, but we can choose to walk a different path whenever the fancy should strike. It ain't in our nature to accept our lot without question. Now we have to believe in something, put our faith in it. Only then will we deign to march in step. And indeed, faith of a savage stripe is one way to get us dancing to the same tune. Others might be compelled through faith in logic or law, intangible, invisible, yet cause enough for killing and conquering if it suits the queen. Invaders have sullied our birthright for 8 centuries. No longer. We marched for Locus Amanus with a few righteous words. His radiant Solus Galvus whipped the hive into a frenzy. Once that fire is burning, the passion of the masses can't soon be quelled. What was once a wish for home became a holy mission to spread enlightenment which would not suffer such beliefs as the beastmen held. So long. Countless scores rendered up their lives on the altar of empire until an entire continent was united under a single Magitech fist. For those who still dreamed of a dream of unity, a deed worthy of song, yet some awoke to see if for the tyranny it was, my grandfather Rulus included. The talents of the Reapers had passed down through bloodlines. Rulus was best of us, most accomplished appeared in the other's long history. The duty of the Reapers, or rolling the hive, if you will, was to deliver our countrymen from corrupt and power-hungry tyrants. When Garlemald found religion and conquest, its appetite grew to be insatiable. My grandfather pondered this conundrum for many sleepless nights and came to the decision he would relieve Solus Galvus of his life. I did that. 20 years ago, he slipped into the deepest chambers of the Imperial Palace, silent as a shadow, until he could hear the Emperor's beating heart. And when Rulus returned to me, Solus was alive and well. My grandfather, on the other hand, had a skittishness on his step, and his black hair had turned to pale white. He said naught of the encounter with the Emperor, save that the most powerful man in Garlemald was no man at all. Shamed in his defeat, my grandfather saw greater power. Bit by bit, he gave more of himself over to the void sent behind this avatar. Orcus struck when Rulus was weakest, taking his flesh and soul in one fell swoop. When he was finished, none Motive grandfather remained in this body, though. There was only Orcus. Fiend flew into a rapturous frenzy, and my family were his first victims. I remember the chill of his teeth sinking into my flesh, gnawing until they reached my very essence. Good lord, it's going on forever. Why am I standing by here before you then? Oh, Orcus gorged on his soul that night, but it wasn't mine, not exactly. It was my avatar that filled his belly. Seems that was all he could stomach. Some might consider that a lucky twist of fate, but I had little time to ponder my fortune, fled soon as I was able. His radiance never looked kindly on those trying to end his life, or their families. Wandered about for years until I settled here and started seeking out others like me, others who had woken from Empire's dream. There is what we call the spirits of the dead in the Garland tongue, a fit moniker if there ever was one. Waking up from the long sleep ain't unlike climbing out of the grave, I can attest to that. Okay, yeah, just get on with it. Son of a bleed, remind me not to give such a long-winded yeah, see? Even she says it, like she's just rambling. I'm heading back for some mail. See you at headquarters. Like, blah, 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 blah. Like, it's a bit much. Like, yes, you can be more concise with it, at least. I care less about your grandfather now. Jesus, we're on like level 78 quests. Just spread that out over a few of them. It's like pages and pages of stuff to read. Welcome back, boss. How was the family? Shaken but unharmed aside from some tousled hair and mangled verse. Orcus left one of the minions behind as a gift, but Zilly made quick work of it. I always said she was a keeper. You have an eye for the fierce of heart. I wager she could slay Orcus all on her own, not that we'd let her take all the glory. Of course we wouldn't. We'll all be there when Orcus tries to take his prize. I don't think we'll be waiting long either. Orcus said he'd strike when Zilly was ripe with fear and hatred and despair, seasonings he's loath to forego. Is that why she talked so long? So I'd be filled with hatred and despair? Have an inkling how he might try to draw out those emotions and finish off a half-eaten meal besides. Right you are, Drusilla. No, he's just basically like light version Nabrialis. How many nights did you mourn your lost avatar, the wellspring of your power? I must say it was quite the dish. I think not. Move so much as a finger and her head will hit the floor. Ooh, that's it. That fire. I want to see it burn. I want to see it rage. I want to see the hatred seep into the depths of your soul. Shall I make this Drusilla's final breath, or this one, or... It's so very hard to choose. I was right not to give in to my baser instincts, to allow the thought of your taste to simmer in my mind as you and Drusilla formed a bond, a kinship even. Born from an understanding of her inconsequential ideals that you may better appreciate the bitter loss. But perhaps I should wait a while longer to let the flavor of your hatred mature and the tang of your malice ripen. Can make use of Drusilla yet, revel in her screams, exult in her misery. Ah, how splendid it will be. All the while my prized piglet growing fat with loathing and succulent with terror. Patience rewards a dutiful gourmand after all. With your tantalizing flavor as fully matured, I shall return and I shall reap my harvest. It's just me and you, Herman. Goddamn void sent bastard, soulless piece of shite. We need to think, Herman. Swipe that sodden demon spawn. Orcus is going to pay for this. Aye, aye, that's the spirit. Right, we need a plan. First things first, find out where Orcus is hiding. The rest of the family should be able to help with that. Meantime, you need to prepare. I know you're good, Zilly, but we can't leave the boss's life to chance. Sharpen your skills and your scythe, and sharpen them once more. Boss can do naught against Orcus without her avatar. That means you'll have to do the heavy lifting. Of course, I'll do what I can to afford you an advantage. You can count on that. For Drusilla. Oh, level 78, thicker than blood, complete. Level 80, the killing art. Herman seems to be in a fit of pique, her anger directed at something you cannot see. When I get my hands on him, oh, Zilly, listen, we found out where the boss is being held, but I'm warning you the how of it isn't pretty. Envelope arrived at headquarters this morning. I opened it and inside was... Shite, inside was a letter written blood. There's no doubting whose it was. Orcus is reveling in his own cruelty. The letter said he's waiting for us at the dusk vigil. God knows what he's going to do to her now. My way over there. I've called on every able-bodied member of the family for this one. We're heading out as soon as everyone's assembled. We're here. Herman and Moore are waiting outside. We're ready to repay the debt we owe to Drusilla with our lives if we must. With souls... Oh, I'm not reading that. I'm done with the poetry. Boss would beam with pride to see this group of cold-blooded killers. All right, Zilly, we're ready when you say the word. Job is for a reaper and a reaper alone. What? How we might not hold a candle to the likes of you, but we've got skills. You'll need someone to distract Orcus, right? Then you can move in for the kill while his back is turned. Don't tell us to stay here with our thumbs up our asses while the boss is suffering. Don't make me repeat myself. Drusilla wouldn't want you throwing your lives away. What do you know about what she wants? Herman, listen, maybe she's right. I know she's right, goddammit. Doesn't that mean, Jay, if the boss wouldn't trust just any woman with the Reaper's arts, and Zilly has proven herself worthy time and again. You're going alone, take that with you. For the boss, no self-respecting Reaper can reap without their scythe. I go and make Orcus rue the day he crossed into this world. Yeah, not gonna be a quicker way to do it. Maybe tail feather might actually be quicker. We'll just do Falcon's Nest. Why the Dusk Vigil? Ugh. Like, hasn't been a point in the story at all. Hey. Now, I was fine until the last one. It just kept going and going and going, and it just really annoyed me for some reason. I'm like, get it over with. It's fine. Like, but they even wrote a line about it being like overly verbose. Like, yeah, just kind of prattling on. If I'd known it went that long, I would have taken an ad break. All right, so here's our duty. Duty calls. Commence battle for the killing art. Level sync is in effect. If you are above the maximum allowed level, will be synced as followed. Level 80, item level 525. Proceed. There you are, Zilly. My prize repast. Come forward. Laurent Nabrialis. You know, I killed a griffin here, right? I can smell it. Your fear, your hatred. Tender marbled soul, my masterpiece, right for the slaughter. I'll savor every bite. Strip the flesh from your bones, crack them open to sup upon the marrow for moons. How I hungered, how I thirsted, enraptured by the thought of your sweet essence trickling down my throat. Never have I suffered so in waiting, but beholding your magnificence, I see it was worth every agonizing pang. I do not expect you to leap into my maw willingly, nor do I desire it. I want you to writhe and struggle until your dying breath. Meaty slice. I'm not doing a whole lot of damage to this guy. It's like a storyline fight, is it going to stop me like mid-fight to do other stuff? Oh, can I fall off of this? Because that'll end this pretty quick. Yeah, storyline fight. It's going to transform. Very good. Defiance becomes you. So it begins to bore me. A noise, rather. 'Tis past time you bared your belly for my blade. Free's sole purpose is to satisfy. My word, your aim is terrible. Oh, he's stupid too. Okay. Now he's gonna come out in his true form. How? There should be nothing left of you. Should have learned to chew your food more thoroughly. Fools, the both of you, I won't die so easily. Now our feast begins. I want it to be easy. Kicking his ass now. Die, Orcus. God, no. I thought he's gonna turn into like some kind of monster because he's like a void scent hiding in a human body. No. This ends now, Orcus. The honor is yours, Drusilla. Let her do it. I just met this dude. All he did was flirt with me. Tell me how tasty I was. It's her grandpa. She should kill him. Dripping with fear, boiled in hatred, I can still smell its exquisite aroma. Just a taste. It's done. Let's get back to headquarters. Just done. Yay. Boss, Zilly. Yay. Sorry for causing you all no end of worry. In tracking me down, you risked life and limb, and for that I thank you. All of you. We didn't risk anything. We just sat here praying until you and Zilly walked through that door. Don't be so hard on yourself, lass. I know each and every one of you would have joined her if she hadn't talked some sense into you. We owe you our lives, boss. We owed it to you to return the favor. You're more than I deserve. Who forces them they hold dear into a personal vendetta? Who leads family to their death? Arn was no fool. He knew and accepted the risk. He placed his faith in you because he believed Orcus had to be stopped, and he was right. There'll be no more victims to mourn. He helped you achieve that victory. It'll be enough for him, and it'll be enough for me. You're right. This ain't the time for sulking. Arn would be the first to tell me that. Now's the time to honor his sacrifice, to toast those we have lost and those still by our sides. To thank the brave souls that led us here. That means you, much as I'd like to take credit for Orcus's demise. It was a long, bloody road, but this marks the end of your first assignment as a Reaper. What an assignment it was, eh? You might not be a Garland, but you tackled your task with a singular resolve that had impressed the most hardened soldier. I'm proud to call you family. We may have founded the Lemurs to provide a home for wayward Garleans, But we're not so different, Garleans and Eorzeans. No great revelation that, but moments like these help put it all in perspective. This family was a dream that gave us the strength to survive in a strange land. The beautiful thing about dreams, if you ask me, is that they can change, they can get better. So I say that from this day forward, the Lemurs will be united not by origin, but by purpose. Brothers and sisters bound by shared convictions. I don't think anyone will object to that, boss. Lemurs are ready to welcome people of all stripes. Starting with you, though it was all but official already, eh? Ah, here's to the birth of a new family, sister. What a day it's been, eh? Hope it'll be a while yet before I have occasion to yammer on that much again. Too much talking's liable to put me in a sentimental mood, or worse, make me dewy-eyed. Let's leave it at that, eh? You ever get weary from the weight of the world on your shoulders, know that our doors will always be open. And if you need an ear to bend, a shoulder to weep on, or a stiff bottle to jump inside, I'll be right here, sister. Level 80, the killing art, complete. Avatar steps upon the souls of fallen foes. Your bond with the void grants you something. Goes to Shroud. Death gauge unlocked. Honest exit paterne.